Hey, welcome to Ask Susan Live. Still working out a couple of things here. So if you're watching this on replay, hashtag replay. If you're popping in questions and I haven't seen that, let me know, okay? Because you know I do check in every day. So my question for you is, has this ever happened to you? You're about to make a decision, could be small, big, whatever, and out of nowhere a voice shows up. Telling you you're not ready, you're being too selfish, it's too late, why would it work? Everybody else is doing it, nobody else is doing it. And you just stop. You put yourself on hold, halt. Does that sound familiar? Susan Lazar, Hart here, your transformational mindset coach, the founder of Fearless Women Rising, this community right here. Today I want to talk to you about something that sits underneath all those places we struggle with. It's those voices that we hear inside of us. Yeah. Because here's what I want you to consider today. I don't think that voice is actually yours. And once you see where it comes from, which we're going to play with today, and I'm going to give you a tool and a question, as I always do, you're going to find that everything might change. Because the research tells us that 35 to 48 thoughts per minute are coming in here, which translates to about 70,000 thoughts a day. So how many of them are yours? How many of them belong to the media, advertising, how you were raised? Here's what I know for sure. You weren't born doubting yourself. Yeah. You weren't born feeling guilty for wanting things. You weren't born second guessing. It was like pee, poo, food, sleep, love. Yes. There was no doubt in that. Yeah. So I want to share something personal with you. Growing up, my home was filled with all kinds of stimulating conversations. There were artists coming through. Both my parents worked, and at the dinner table, it was about things going on and politics, and it was so stimulating. And I was always encouraged to ask questions, and yet, when I did ask those questions, my mother would look at me and say, "You don't know that? I can't believe you don't know that." And in those moments, something shifted in me. That my not knowing was something to be ashamed of. So I stopped asking. And along the way, I stopped trusting what I did know, because I thought, well, everybody else knows this. Why am I asking this question? And that voice that says you should already know this, what's wrong with you, that was my mother's voice. Yeah, not mine. I just inherited it. And I carried it for years before I ever thought to question it. Now, has that ever happened to you? There's a voice, somebody said something to you when you were very little, and you're like, oh, they love me, they feed me, it must be true. Yeah. See, once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. Oh, that's not mine. That critical voice that said I was too much, not mine. That voice that says, oh, you shouldn't be asking so many questions, not mine. You're taking up too much space, not mine. You laugh too much, not mine. Inherited every single one of them. Yeah. And most often than not, those deep feelings, well, they hold us down when we're asking ourselves to be our most joyful selves. And then we wonder why we can't begin what we're asking to create. Yeah. So we hold ourselves back. So today I want to give you just one thing, not a framework, not 5-step process, just one question to carry with you this week. So every time you feel doubt, guilt, fear, pressure, before you act on it, I want you to push through it. Before you try to silence it, I want you to ask this question. Whose voice is it? Is it mine? Somebody else's? Something else? Whose voice is this? And does it align with where I'm asking to go in the world? Who I'm asking to be in the world? So step into it. How old were you when you first heard it? What does it sound like? What does it create in your body, in your heart? Just be with it. Be present with it. Think of one thing you've been doubting yourself lately, like right now, in this time. And ask yourself, is there a voice that's stopping me from being me? Who is that? Because you might just find it's the beginning of letting go of what isn't working for you, of what you've been buying into is real and true. So here's what I want to leave you with. Notice the voice, be present with it, Notice the voice. Don't judge it, because you can't release what you judge. It's about acknowledging it. Oh, this isn't mine to begin with. Just like that. Letting your body know. It changes your nervous system. There's something I do for myself. Every time I find myself judging anything, I'll just say, oh, I'm so sorry you were taught to judge. And all of a sudden it releases. There's a self-compassion. Yeah. We'll be talking about that a little later. Something we weren't taught, to be compassionate with ourselves. So I might say, oh, I'm so sorry. And I'm speaking to my little self, my younger self. I'm so sorry you were taught not to ask a question. Yeah. So how many of you have something very similar where what you asked made someone else feel uncomfortable? Let it go, let it flow. It's not yours to begin with. Yeah. So I want you to ask, just this week, play with it. Whose voice is this? And pop it in the comments below. Because, there's nothing that we don't ask ourselves that somebody else isn't asking themselves. Yeah. And so when you pop it in the comments, when you raise it as, oh, here's a question, Susan. I wonder how many other people are just sitting back, watching, viewing, listening, reading, and saying, oh, yeah, that's my question too. And I was never actually encouraged to ask those questions. So, I always say when two or more are gathered, we rise up. So let's rise up together. And again, if you're watching this on replay, #replay, and let me know what pops for you. In June, I'm opening up something very, very special having to do with what we're talking about. And I'll let you in on that later, so stay close. But for now, before you go, pop in one thing, one voice that you've been listening to that actually isn't yours to begin with. Thanks for joining me on Ask Susan Live. Live boldly, love greatly, and be that fearless leader you came here to be. A fearless leader is one who's willing to say, oh, what about this is working for me? What about this isn't working for me? And how could I change it? That's what we're all about here on Fearless Women Rising. It's about changing what isn't working for you so you and I and we all can rise up together. Big love. Mwah. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye. And don't forget to pop your comments in here. Hey, if you want to see old ass Susans, not old me, but old ass Susans, come on over to our YouTube channel, Susan Lazar Hart, Fearless Women Rising. Press subscribe, please, so we can have more people opening up to more awarenesses. Like, share, pop your comments in there. I do check in every day. Mwah! Big love from Montreal. Bye-bye.